On this episode, we take a Sniper EFI and put it on this rock crawler.
Overall on the road, this thing doesn't have a lot of drivability concerns. The Weber carburetor that's on here does pretty well. There's a couple little things here or there that are carburetor specific, but that's pretty good. I don't know if you're going to tell this on camera or not, but one of the things that it does is lay into a quick and unplugs for itself. The RPM more happens. I think it's kind of like a brief flood, not flood, but a brief way too rich moment. Yeah. Never even broke 180 degrees. It's good. Let's do some work, Dan.
Yeah, let's get this EFI going. What's up, guys? We're here in the shop today. We are going to be doing an install on Andy's comp vehicle, his 1980 CJ7. Holley was awesome enough to sponsor this video and install, and they sent us their BBD Sniper EFI kit, their master kit for his Jeep.
Thanks, Holley.
Yes, thank you very much for that.
We're going to rock it and show you what it can do.
Yeah.
You already know that.
Yeah, thank you. So on the bench here, we kind of laid everything out. I'll let Andy kind of go through what we got here. But this is the full master kit. It's the Sniper EFI system and the add-on fuel kit that they make.
Yeah, so the base kit comes with everything on this side of the bench. This side, you obviously get the BBD style, which was the Chrysler carbs from the 50s through the 80s, 2-barrel, not in flames like these guys here. Obviously, so you get the throttle body unit. They send you, this is your accessory harness, so this is what can control your inputs, outputs, and all the other accessories that the EFI can control, which is freaking cool. You have the O2 sensor kit, which they give this very basic but awesomely effective clamp-on style O2 sensor mount. Uses clamps instead of weld-on. Makes the job a little more driveway friendly for at home. And then you've got the main harness, which controls your power, your accessory on, your coil connection so that the EFI can see your timing, or at least see your tack signal, depends on how you want to wire it. All of that comes in the basic EFI kit. We have the master kit, so that includes their fuel system kit, which is over on this side. There's a multitude of different Earls and NOS fittings. As far as those go, you also get the 3/8 fuel line, and then you get a pre-filter, high pressure fuel pump, and high pressure filter, mounting kit for the pump. Nice set of instructions that actually look pretty detailed. So kind of hopefully leaves no questions, but we're going to find out.
Yeah.
What else you got for him, Dan?
That's pretty much it for the intro. I mean, we're gonna install all this. We're gonna video everything, and we'll post this up so that everyone who's interested in this kit, and maybe they're a little intimidated about switching over to fuel injection, this system is supposed to make it so dummy proof that even we can do it.
That's fair. That's fair.
So we're gonna do that. We're gonna film everything and show you guys exactly how it's done, and then we'll put a link in the description for this exact setup that we're running, so you can get it from Holley. The part number is 550-859K, but we'll put that in the description for you, and let's just get to it. I'm excited to get this done.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. So.
So one of the first things you want to do when you work on installing this kit is you want to remove the negative battery terminal. It's kind of a good thing to do on any project you're doing, but especially when you're working with fuel and everything like that, you want to make sure you disconnect that.
Correct. So the main thing I'm focusing on is just disassembly at this point. Some of this stuff is not going to get reused, some's going to get changed. Please disregard anything on this side that is a disaster. That will be getting cleaned up as part of this process, or at least once the EFI is finished. So, all right, keep going.
So what we're doing now is getting rid of the metal fuel lines, the fuel pump, everything that's we're not going to need with this new system. Moment of truth.
It is the moment of truth.
Sniper, EFI, it's going in.
Prepare for touchdown. My time is off. 1.
EFI is in. So we're running into some issues with clearance from here to the top of these bolts here. So we actually had to pull the throttle position sensor off just to be able to get to these studs, to be able to lock them down. All right, so we got the throttle position sensor back where it was. All the studs are locked down. It's in place, it looks really good.
It does.
That was the easiest way to get to those studs. I mean, you can see how tight they are back there. And even this one right here was the same way. Couldn't really get a socket on it that was deep enough to reach the nut, but shallow enough to clear the top. So now it's what, O2s?
O2 sensors next.
O2 sensor.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, we're gonna go down yonder.
All right, so what we're doing, we're gonna install the O2. My manifold has a bung location for an O2 sensor already, so we're gonna utilize that. The instructions say 1 to 10 inches from where all the pipes come, or all the cylinders come together, which they all come together up in here. I would say that qualifies. It's 1 to 10. In the book, they do show pictures of using the O2 sensor hole. So
Yeah, as long as you don't have long tube headers.
yeah,
So
which I do not. So let's see how much this wants to fight. I'm betting it's gonna suck. Oh really? All right. Okay. All right.
I'm all right with it.
My Jeep likes me. Poor buddy. I don't even know how that happens.
Seems fine.
Yeah. It's fine.
Got the Holley O2 sensor installed. We're using the factory location on the manifold. And looks good. Now we're inspecting what we're gonna do with the fuel system. And yes, that is a flex hose exhaust.
don't mind my inspection plate. They frown upon turn downs after the skid plate.
I don't know why, it's so unjust.
I know. We got the fuel pump in. Trying to keep it up out of the way, but still reasonably close to the fuel supply. So, can't tell from here, but my fuel cell is actually right behind this panel. So we've only got, I don't know, maybe a foot of rubber hose before it goes into the feed of the pump. We're gonna splice in the pre-filter actually on the body side, or the inside, instead of having it underneath here. So I'm gonna do that here in just a minute. But got that. It's kind of hard to see all of what's going on, but rubber high pressure hose into the high pressure filter, which is then feeding the metal line, which runs up the top of the frame rail, just like the return line on this side, just opposite side. Runs down the other side of the frame rail and back up to the motor. So.
Yeah, we took a little bit of time to finagle where we're gonna put everything because this is a crawler and we did not want anything hanging below the frame because...
Or even really on the inside of the frame rail?
Yeah, because rocks, everything can go right up in there and puncture it, and we don't want anything to break. We don't want any issues like that, so...
And I'm gonna end up probably making just a quick little splash shield that'll go in here and just kind of self-tap into the body just to kind of keep any debris from flying up in there. But
and that end over here just ties right back in to the steel fuel line that goes back up to the...
yeah, it's kind of hard to see. It's behind the air line.
Yeah, it's behind the airline and everything, but it ties in right through there and goes all the way back up.
Yeah, no, this is not fuel line. This is air.
That's air, yeah.
Metal line's kind of hidden.
Yeah,
It's
you
there.
can see the fuel cell right through there. So it's that part is set up, and now we get up top in the cargo area. Put that other.
Yeah, splice that low pressure filter in real quick, and
Yeah.
then we're on to wiring.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's going pretty quick. I'm excited. So we've gotten pretty far. We got the both fuel lines now run all the way back. We got the.
I need to put a clamp on that. Don't let me forget.
Yeah, we need to put a clamp there, but we got the new fuel pump, the filters, the pre, the post,
Yep.
all put in underneath the back. All lines are ran up. Once we get a clamp on this guy, the next thing is wiring.
Wiring.
All
This
that.
will run all the way back to the fuel pump.
Okay.
Wiring into the battery. This on the frame rail to the fuel pump. I don't think this gets used at all. That's what the timing control.
So you can see there's the Sniper EFI. There's the new return line coming down and running right up to the original return. All right, so we're under the Jeep now. Got up on the lift. Andy is working on the temp sensor, putting that in there, making a mess.
I did make a mess, I'm sorry.
But I got the fuel pump positive wire. Gonna run it down here along the frame rail, all the way back.
Very positive?
I'm very positive.
Okay.
And we're gonna take it right to the fuel pump. Andy's got an armored plate underneath here, so we're gonna have to run it through there, get it to the other end, get a little creative with it, but should be easy to run.
And it's going to be loomed.
Yeah, and we're gonna loom it too, which will be interesting once we get it over there.
First, just get your loom it and then re-run.
Well, I think once I get to the end, I can just feed the loom through it, or feed it through the loom rather, and I can just pull the loom all the way up to the front.
Maybe.
It should be fine.
I've always thought that. Never really had it. Well, you'll be the one. You'll be the one, Dave.
That's the goal. My wife says I'm the one. I guess we gotta just figure out what length that's gotta be for going to that pump. Trim it, put a little terminal end on it, and then I'll loom it. We'll go from there.
Loom in here. It's a bit warm.
It's gonna be warm. Nice terminal end on our line going back to the fuel pump.
I went ahead and depinned this harness. The reason being, it from the manufacturer has like 5 or 6 wires that come out of it, control multiple different pieces of the system. As far as add-ons that you can run with this kit, I'm only going to be taking advantage of 2 of the wires at the moment. Obviously, keeping the others to have the expandability later. But there's no need to have them under the engine, up here in the engine bay, cluttering everything up. One thing I will mention, when you depin them, there's these little red plugs. There's a kit that's mentioned in the Holley instructions that you can buy that comes with the tool to depin and also some of these extra plugs. I unfortunately don't have that kit, but I'll be ordering it to get these plugs. But for the moment, they're just unplugged or depinned and waiting on plugs. I've left tach output for aftermarket tachometer and output number 1, which is going to control my electric fans that I have going on and off through the EFI. So that's what we're doing now. One of the other things to mention is in the instructions, they make it very clear to not allow any of the power wires to run near or in contact or in the same loom as anything with high voltage, like your coil or your ignition wires and things like that. Done pretty much everything I can to avoid that, so we should be good. But oh shit, I want to tie this in too.
It's definitely something you want to make sure you don't do.
Yeah. Well,
Tie it in with your.
it's not necessarily tie-in, but the
Yeah, well, if they're next to each other.
the interference around those wires can actually really screw with the computer.
Yeah.
Calls it to do some weird stuff. It sees things that aren't really there. I see dead people. I see dead people. Wait, do we have to copyright that?
I don't think so.
I see unliving people.
I think only if you whisper it.
Oh. We did whisper it. I see unliving people.
I say people not of a living nature.
It doesn't have the same ring. They really did get it right.
A nice shamalama.
Don't do it. I knew where you're going with that.
Ding.
Ding, pizza rolls are ready. Wiring, we calling done? I think we're gonna go back over the book and just make sure, but
Yeah.
fuel pump, we don't have any unplugged plugs. This is that wire bundle for controlling timing, which we are not using.
No, but we're leaving it there just in case we decide we want to add it later.
Yeah, I very well may later. I very well may end up being an MSD box sitting here at some point in my life.
No.
Yes.
We're going to refer to this wire as Sully.
Sully. Alright.
Yeah, Monsters Inc.
Okay, I got it. It took me a second, but I caught up. I get the color pattern.
So everything's hooked up here. On the lines, we got our throttle position all back in where it was. All the wires are kind of cable managed as best we could right now. Tie them up into the firewall.
I'm sure it's going to get a lot of tweaking.
Yeah, I mean, as we go, we're going to tie everything up. But for right now, that looks really good. Battery terminals hooked back up. Now it is plugging it up, hooking up the touchscreen, and
Going through the setup wizard. The
Yeah.
wizard. The wizard. We gotta go
the
to
wizard. We're off to see the wizard.
Alright, let's copyright, man. Come on.
Copyright too. Damn it, everything's copyrighted.
We're trying not to lose money on this.
We're on to see the sorcerer.
Yes.
All right, terminal's going down, and then we are programming. All the wires there are all tied up to the firewall. Over to this. Yellow wire goes down into the negative there. No fear of any of the fans. Directly tied in to the battery terminals. And I think we're good to start.
Okay.
Ready to start? So we've got the Sniper EFI controller ran through the bottom of the dash here, through the firewall, run it up, and we're gonna mount this somewhere on the dashboard here. They supply you with some 3M tape, so we're gonna put that on the back there, but we're gonna get into the setup wizard here in a second and get this thing fired.
So here's our little Holley Sniper EFI touchscreen. It is, I guess, your communication interface between the whole unit here. The instructions say one of the first things you're going to do is turn the key to on, and this thing should come to life. So you're going to find out with us because I haven't done it yet. Oh, did a thing. Hey, that looks like what the picture looks like, so that's good. So we're going to follow along. I want you to think I know everything because I swear I don't. I'm cheating. So it says to turn this bad boy on. Home screen navigates multiple different functions. All right, so step 1, select wizard from the main menu. Wizard. All right, select your sniper system type. So we're gonna scroll down and I see BBD sniper, so that should be our guy. And we're gonna hit next. Number of cylinders, right there in the middle, 6.
All of them.
13, what? Engine displacement. Oh, this is gonna be a lot of typing. Does it let me, there we go. Wow, whoa. So
Super sensitive.
that's probably why there's a stylus instead of my fat, chubby digits
Where are the stylus?
on the table, but I can't do both. All right, so this is a 258 straight 6. I'm gonna hit next. Target idle speed. For initial startup, I'm probably just gonna, they recommend 850. I'm gonna stick with that. It'll probably end up getting lowered later. So what that is it's the desired idle that it's gonna reach once the engine is hit 160 degrees. Step 8, it's gonna ask what type of camshaft. Well, on this it only gives us one option, so, and it is a stock cam to my knowledge. All right, so you've got multiple different coil setups with ignition timing and whatnot that you can choose. The method we used is that coil negative, so we're already got that selected. And then you hit, it says after answering all the questions, hit the start button,
It's going to do some thinking about itself. Fuel pumps are loud. Please cycle the ignition to complete operation. All right. So, one of the things we want to double check is the fuel leaks.
Yeah, now that it's primed, make sure that none of the lines are leaking anywhere.
So we are going to prime it a couple more times. I'm assuming the fact that it kicked off means that it pulled fuel, so that's good. Next pieces of info that it's showing us. Map sensor at sea level should be 101, roughly. Hey, that's pretty close.
102.
CTS, coolant temp sensor, should be registering. We're showing 77 degrees, that sounds about right. Battery should be above 12 volts before starting. We're at 12.1, 12.2. Good. Okay. Pre-start checklist. Verify ECU is powered by the battery. We know it is, directly to the battery. Coil negative is yellow wires on the negative terminal of the coil, which it is. We're not using an ignition box or any other deal. Handheld does power up. It's in my hand and it's on. Wizard's been run. We did that. We just showed you. All wiring must be tied away from potential hazards such as exhaust and pulleys. I'm very confident it is, but we're going to do one last double check just to make sure. And then we're going to move on to initial start. So let's just go double check everything on our wiring.
Yep.
All right, so
First start.
What we're looking at in this top left corner, we're going to see where it says stall. That's what it's supposed to say when the engine's not running. When I go to crank, it's going to flash syncing or sync for half a second or so. And then we should end up with some RPMs and an engine that runs would be good. So we'll find it out here in just a sec. Ready? Let's do it. Yeah, it's live.
The mechanical pump shot fluid ever.
So it's doing a little bit of hunting for idle, but it's learning right now, so that's probably to be as expected. Showing around 1100 to 1300 RPM. Just kind of do a double check on these, make sure you don't see the fuel all the way around every fuel line. While the engine warms up, look at some other parameters to make sure everything is operating properly. Go into the monitored multi-gauge and select air-fuel ratio icon. Alright, well at the moment we're showing 82 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds accurate for the startup. I am for this position is showing 20%. So it says go to the monitor multi-gauge. Monitor multi-gauge air-fuel ratio. Ooh, that's a nice gauge. I like that. So, we'll take this opportunity while it's warming up, and we'll go through what each of these mean. So, AF, air-fuel ratio. This will show the air-fuel ratio with wideband oxygen sensor reading. Right now we're showing the air-fuel ratio at 13.5 or so, fluctuating. 13.5%, so that's pretty cool. Closed loop compensation should be adding or subtracting fuel at the time since the air-fuel ratio left. Always be close to target air-fuel ratio. Target air fuel was 13.3, so we're pretty damn close. That's good. Target air fuel ratio is obviously what the computer is trying to achieve, so it's doing a pretty good job. Coolant enrichment percentage. So that one basically enriches the fuel mixture as the engine is cooled and brings it back down as the engine warms up. So, learn status. That one says no learn when self-learning is not active. Learn if self-learning is active. Alright. Current learn percent. I don't think it learns until it reaches temperature. So, I'm going to verify that. But good. Didn't get that to load. All right, cool. So one of the things I wanted to show is now that it's hit 160 degrees, it has entered burn mode. So it is now actually training the computer what to do and seeing what's best for the motor, which is pretty cool.
All right, so we've got the Sniper EFI tuned as much as we can get it without taking it for a test drive. We got to put the air filter on, finish tying up a couple of wires, put the tires back on it, and then we're going for the initial
Burnouts.
Yes, burnout and test drive.
Sorry.
You have to kind of drive it through variable throttles down the road for a couple miles, let it self-learn. So we're doing that next. And then that should be it.
We'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out too.
Well, then we got to go wheeling.
This is true. But all the places are closed because of Corona.
It's true. But we got some before footage, so whenever we can get back out, we'll have some after for you, and then
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
Yeah, so it might not release with this video, but we will post a video of this redeeming itself on some of the trails that it kept stalling on with the carburetor. So
It's the plan.
let's get it.
Let's do it. It likes grandma shifts. Yes. First third. Make it throttle.
So Andy, how'd that test drive go?
That was probably the best drive in my Jeep I've ever had. It's freaking awesome. Absolutely awesome. First time it's ever hit 4,000 RPM.
Then you hit $4,000 hard.
So it's probably enough for the straight set.